News up here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, President John Dramani Mahama nominates final batch of deputy ministers, with the Asiedu North Member of Parliament James Jechikwesin being nominated for Foreign Affairs Deputy.
Also tonight, Friday's partial rerun of Ablekuma North parliamentary elections set to go on as NPP withdraws from contesting.
Also coming up, minority in parliament accused government of causing financial loss to the state by spending $1.2 million on a relaunch of the chip-embedded passports.
Coming up in business news, cost of Bank of Ghana's 2024 official travels hit 206 million cedis despite posting 9.4 billion cedis loss, raising eyebrows over public spending controls.
And on the international front, Kenya's President William Ruto orders police to shoot protesters in their legs, ensuring they are incapacitated but not killed.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up shortly. Don't go away.
We're starting from the seat of government because a few minutes ago, the president released the final list of his ministerial appointees, and the final 4 are going to occupy deputy ministerial positions. So we'll take you through the individuals who have been given the honors to serve in this capacity as deputy ministers. You have James Jechikwesin. You remember him for a long legal battle he has had in the previous administration. Well, he is the member of parliament for the Asiedu North constituency, and he is going to be taking the position of Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, meaning he will be working with the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Then there's Dorcas Aforte, MP for Jomoro. She's going to be Deputy Minister in charge of Transport. You have Mohammed Adam Suparu, who is going to be Deputy Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation. Means he'll be working with the Honorable Sam George. He is actually the Member of Parliament for the Sisala West constituency in the Upper West region. And the final person on the list is Madam Grace Ayensu Dankwa. She is going to be Deputy Health Minister, and she's also the Member of Parliament for the Esikado-Keten constituency in the Western region. So these are the 4 final list of ministerial nominees that the president promised during his campaign. Said that he's going to give 60 ministers. We've had 54 for a while, and now the final 4 have been released. So if you go to our website, 3news.com, you get that list for yourself.
In more news tonight, the United States has reduced visa access for citizens of Ghana and Nigeria. Instead of getting visas that last up to 5 years, travelers will now receive visas that are valid for only 3 months and for only 1 entry. The new rule took effect this week and applies to most visa types. These include the student visas, business, tourist, and work visas. This means that Ghanaians and Nigerians will have to apply for a new visa every time they want to travel to the United States of America. Officials from the USA say the change is due to concerns about visa overstays and poor document security. They also say they are trying to match the visa rules that their own citizens face in these countries. Ghana was told that 21% of its student visa holders stay longer than they are allowed. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister said the issue is not about crime or terrorism, but is only related to immigration. He says Ghana is ready and already working with the United States officials to solve this problem. Nigeria's Foreign Minister Yusuf Tuga gave a stronger response. He said the new policy is an unfair economic restriction that could damage trade and relations between West Africa and the US. Both Ghana and Nigeria now have 60 days to fix the problem or risk facing tougher restrictions. This could even include full travel bans in the future.
So although the restrictions have been given, it is not affecting all visa types. Let's take you through the specifics that will be affected. Which types of visas have this 3-month restriction? So tourist and business visas, which usually are the B1, B2 visas, previously you ordinarily would have easily gotten between 1 to 5 years and multiple entries. But this new restriction taking effect this month means that all those who are going to the US either as tourists or on business dealings are going to be getting only 3 months validity, and a single entry means if you enter once, that's it, you can't go again, you would have to reapply. Then again, F1 and M1 visa applicants, normally in the category of students, also usually do get 5 years, but now they have to get only 3 months, and the validity period again is for only single entry. Work visas, the H&L, etc., are going to still stay within, usually used to get between 12 to 24 months or longer, but they are also going to face that restriction of only 3 months. And then diplomatic visas are not affected. So the two countries, like we indicated, are Ghana and Nigeria. But why are we here? Well, let's try and get some further understanding of how all of this could play out on our diplomatic relations with the U.S. Professor Lord Malko Yevuga is an international relations analyst and a lecturer at GIMPA. Prof, good evening and thank you for your time.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. To start with, what are your immediate thoughts on this? Many have expressed surprise about how the U.S. is acting regarding these visa restrictions. How should Ghana be reacting or thinking of reacting to these restrictions?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Good evening to your viewers. I think, first of all, I'm surprised, but also not surprised, and I will explain why. I'm surprised because not long ago, the foreign minister indicated that he had some consultations with the Americans, and they expressed the concern about the overstaying of students who go to school and who refuse to come back to Ghana, about 21%, which exceeded the threshold of 15%. And that was the main concern, because otherwise, other considerations would have been if you harbor terrorism and all that. But Ghana was not started for that. So, that was the issue that the foreign minister shared with Ghanaians. So I'm surprised that the new measures that are being introduced are not only targeting student visas, they include tourist visas and business travels and all that, which means that you have to look at the issue from a broader context. It is not about just overstaying that was originally alleged to be the issue with Ghana. So I will look at this issue with the broader American shifting foreign policy. If you look at it closely, the Donald Trump administration has signaled that America is shifting its foreign policy from more welcoming place for migrants from all over the world to a situation where they are beginning to be restrictive. Right. They are going to put restrictions on people who come to America. So I think this new policy measure fits into that change in foreign policy stance of America under Donald Trump.
Right. And maybe finally, before you take leave of us, could this have bilateral impact between the relations we have as countries, especially between Ghana and the U.S.?
Well, as you indicated, we have 60 days to engage the Americans. I think there should be engagement at the highest level, at the presidential level.
What should our posturing be? Sorry for butting about. How should we posture? Nigeria says that, and from the U.S. perspective, Nigeria is taking a strong stand. How should Ghana approach this?
Well, Ghana should take a strong stand as well, because in diplomatic terms, there's something called reciprocity. If they are going to be tough on us coming to America, then Ghana must also review its visa requirements for Americans coming to Ghana, because that's reciprocity. You cannot give us restrictions and we'll give you open borders. I think Ghana needs to signal to America that we are going to pay in kind. We are going to also introduce restrictions on their citizens coming to Ghana. And that will send a very strong signal to Americans that we are also serious. Because,
Okay.
of course, America also needs Ghana. There are a lot of Americans who come to Ghana and the American businesses. So if they are going to restrict the movement of our people to America, then we should also signal to them that we are going to return the favor in kind.
All right, Prof, thank you very much for those thoughts. Clearly, a conversation that we'll pay particular attention to in the coming days. Professor Lord Malko Yevuga, International Relations Analyst and lecturer at GIMPA.
An Accra High Court has dismissed the New Patriotic Party's interim injunction that sought to prevent the Electoral Commission from proceeding to rerun elections at 19 out of 281 polling stations in the Ablikuma North constituency on July 11. The presiding judge, Ali Baba, ruled that the balance of convenience favors the Electoral Commission's constitutional duty to ensure representation for the people. A report by Lord Edo-Asari.
Lawyers for the NPP parliamentary candidate, Nanaekwe Afriyie, sought the court to grant a 10-day ex parte interim injunction against the Electoral Commission. They noted this would grant the party adequate time to serve the Electoral Commission with an application asking for an explanation regarding the failure to adhere to the High Court's earlier directive to collate and declare results of 3 outstanding polling stations. Lead counsel for Afriyie, Gary Nimakon, argued that following the High Court's directive in January, the EC acknowledged in multiple public communications, including a press release and briefing by Deputy EC Chairperson Dr. Abosman Asare in Parliament, that only 3 polling stations remain uncollated and further requested for security to do so. Gary Nimakon indicated that the Commission's actions contravene the court orders, stressing that all the polling stations' results or pink sheets had already been certified by party agents and presiding officers at the time of the election, making a rerun both unnecessary and unlawful. But presiding judge Ali Baba Abature, in his ruling, asserted that the Electoral Commission has the constitutional mandate to conduct elections for constituents. He added that the EC also has the power to adequately compensate Nanaekwe Afriyie in damages if she wins the application to quash the EC's decision to rerun the elections. With this decision by the High Court, the Electoral Commission is expected to carry out the rerun of the 19 polling stations of the Ablikuma North constituency on Friday, July 11. Lord Edo-Asari, T3 News, Accra.
We are trying to get a governance expert at CDD Ghana to speak on this story. As and when we get him, we will bring you the developments.
Now, the minority in Parliament has accused the government of causing financial loss to the state by spending $1.2 million on a relaunch of the chip-embedded passports. They claim that the policy was contracted and financed by the Akufo-Addo government, making the relaunch by the current government unnecessary. Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Committee, Nana Asafo-Aye, addressed the media in Parliament.
The first lap will be on the chip-embedded passport program, an initiative fully conceived, contracted, and financed by the previous Akufo-Addo-led administration. After Cabinet approved in August 2024, the outgoing government secured supplier credit, completed all testing, and formally launched the project on 2nd December 2024. Including procuring of 50,000 booklets and standing order of 200,000 more. You can reference this on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs press release. You can also look at the Ministerial of Foreign Affairs contract CEP 2111. When the new minister staged a costly relaunch on the 28th April 2025, an event that alone cost the taxpayer $1.2 million. It failed to increase printing capacity or paper supply. Within 8 weeks, the passport office was sitting on 32,467 unprinted applications. 68% of applicants had waited more than 8 weeks, despite paying for 15 days express services. You can also get this on the Passport Office Situation Report, 20th June 2025. City News also did a survey, and then that was also on 25th June 2025. There is a video too that has been attached. Now, over 1.4 million times, this video I'm talking about was viewed over 1.4 million times, showing mothers missing scholarship deadlines and traders stranded without travel documents. The relaunch solved nothing. It's merely a rebranded work that has already been done and diverted scarce resources away from service delivery.
And away from Parliament, you may have heard allegations about the takeover of a local mine, engineers and planners, and one Azuma Resources. Well, this development has raised eyebrows with analysts and the ordinary individual alike, asking questions over the ongoing media spat. In this report, Mawena Edbeta breaks down what has become a complex subject.
The controversy all starts with Imani's Bright Simmons flagging a media invitation by engineers and planners to announce a takeover of Black Volta Gold Mines, a local mine domiciled in the northern part of the country and owned by Azuma Resources Ghana. According to Mr. Simmons, that invitation, which would later turn into the signing of a financing agreement, was ill-fated as Azuma Resources Ghana denied selling the mine to ENP. According to records by both contesting parties, negotiations between Black Volta Gold Mines and engineers and planners started in 2023. This was after the mine owners approached EMP, a company connected to President Mahama's brother, Ibrahim Mahama, to purchase the mine as they had challenges, including mounting debt. The big question then comes in. If there was an agreement to buy, why are both parties out in the media? Well, according to Azuma Resources Ghana, ENP failed to meet timelines in fulfillment of the agreement, hence their decision to terminate the purchase of the mine. It doesn't end there. EMP has challenged the alleged termination agreement while disclosing they have secured a high court order preventing any further engagement or development over the purchase of the mine. Which brings us to these set of facts now. Azuma Resources Ghana entered an agreement with EMP for the sale of their Black Volta gold mines valued at $100 million in 2023, with clear timelines and financing agreement. Despite challenges on both sides, ENP made some financial commitments, but these commitments did not stop Azuma Resources from terminating the agreement. EMP is currently challenging the termination in London and has secured a court order against any further development or sale of the mine. EMP announced financing agreement with ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development (EBID) worth $100 million to pay for the Black Volta gold mines. Both parties are accusing each other of impropriety in their respective media commentary. So the big question again remains, why the open media fight when there is ongoing arbitration over the agreement?
Ghana's Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has described as misleading media reports claiming that Ghana abstained from a UN Human Rights Council vote on LGBT issues. According to the minister, the question being voted on was whether the mandate of the independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity should be reviewed. The minister said that the decision to abstain is in line with Ghana's current position, which is against legalizing LGBTQ rights in Ghana.
There was no vote on support for LGBTQI, no vote. The ministry is issuing a statement, and we shall be quoting copiously, very clear terms, the exact question as was put at the meeting, so that you can also independently verify. And it is clear that there was no vote on support for LGBTQI, whether you are for LGBTQI or you are against. If that was the vote, you can be assured that Ghana will have voted clearly against, because that is our position. We do not support that practice. And President Mahama has made it very clear that it will not be on his watch that he will support or his government will endorse LGBTQI. He's made that very clear. And all of us, our religious leaders, our community leaders, our chiefs, everybody is clear about where Ghana stands on the matter of LGBTQI.
In more news tonight, private legal practitioner Kwame Kufu says the process the suspended Chief Justice is going through over claims of misconduct has nothing to do with people's opinions of her. The comment comes as the suspended Chief Justice goes to the ECOWAS court over claims of human rights abuses in the process against her. He spoke to Beatrice Edu.
The comparatives are not necessarily an ingredient for impeachment. Those comparatives are not necessarily an ingredient for impeachment. We go to court on every occasion and we get rulings against us. I disagree with the Chief Justice in respect of a ruling when there was an ex parte application and the application was granted to run till the end of the case. I disagreed with her. But those are not ingredients for impeachment because judges have the power to go right and have the power to go wrong. We go to court sometimes, we put forward very good cases, we lose. You may complain in the comfort of your office, but that does not necessarily become an ingredient for an impeachment process.
So on the Parliament one?
On the Parliament one with respect to the Speaker back in
Yes, yes.
The Chief Justice took a position in court, which I disagree with, especially in respect to application for injunction. I disagree that it was held ex parte. I thought there was substantial time for people to be put on notice. I thought that it was unnecessary for the court to be engaged in an existing confrontation with Parliament, especially as we approach an election period. It gave us very, very tense situation to the environment, the political environment at that time. But that is not to say that these are ingredients for impeachment.
So you agreed that it was an interference?
I wouldn't say it was an interference. It was a constitutional interpretation which did not favor the parliamentary branch of government. I wouldn't call it an interference. Otherwise, persons who do not disagree with the decision to form an Attorney General or J.H. Mensah will call it interference. Ever since the days of Marbury and Madison, we've come to understand that the Supreme Court is the court vested with power to interpret matters, acts, and everything that comes from Parliament. So it's not an interference, but back to your question as to how people view this. I take the firm position that persons who are aggrieved and want the Chief Justice removed, irrespective of their motivations, will have to trigger an Article 146 proceeding. It is how those who look at the proceeding and those who handle the proceeding, that is what matters for me.
In more news tonight, President John Dramani Mahama has unveiled an ambitious vision for Ghana's maritime future, highlighting national security, economic opportunity, and regional cooperation as key pillars for growth and resilience. The announcement came during the 4th International Maritime Defense Exhibition and Conference held at Burma Camp here in Accra, where the Chief of Staff spoke on behalf of the President.
In a message that resonated with purpose, President Mahama called for a new era of maritime innovation and security in Ghana and across the West African sub-region.
We are exploring various avenues to equip the Navy with offshore patrol vessels and fast patrol boats to augment existing platforms. As part of our 8-pillar strategy under the National Reset Agenda, Ghana aims to become West Africa's premier regional hub for trade and investment.
The President's statement emphasized that maritime security is not just a defense issue, but a foundation for economic development.
Africa's blue economy holds unlimited potential, from fisheries and offshore oil to shipping and international trade. The seas around us are a lifetime for economic development and regional integration. Yet our maritime domain is under persistent threat. In West Africa, the Gulf of Guinea remains one of the world's most vulnerable regions to maritime insecurity.
The Chief of Staff reiterated Ghana's intention to intensify joint maritime operations and deepen collaboration with ECOWAS, the African Union, and global partners to cut piracy, illicit trafficking, and environmental threats in the Gulf of Guinea. The address also revealed government's plans to strengthen the Ghana Navy and allied maritime agencies through increased investment in surveillance technologies, joint training programs, and maritime research institutions. The IMDEC 2025 continues to host global defense and industry leaders. Ghana's prominent role in shaping maritime security and economic development remains a focal point.
Let's go to the western region where tension is escalating in Takoradi as the regional GPRTU and Raman Transport Services exchange ultimatums over disputed operating territory. GPRTU is demanding Raman relocate within 7 days, but Raman has countered with a 5-day ultimatum of its own. Irama Smith reports from Takoradi with more details.
I'm currently at the Apremdo Market Station. Years passed. In an effort to decongest the Takoradi business district, the secondary Takoradi Metro Assembly moved all transport stations here. GPRTU, Concerned Drivers Association, Raman Transport Services, the VIP and other transport stations, they were all moved here. This place became very vibrant, but after a few years, they all moved back to the Takoradi business district area. And now the relationship between the GPRTU and Raman Transport Services is coming to a head because the GPRTU is complaining that because of the location of Raman Transport Services, which is in the Ekma municipality, as in Efiakwesi Municipal Assembly, quite close to the Jubilee Park, which has now been turned into a market, is a threat to their operation within the central business district of Takoradi. Many passengers or prospective passengers, it seems, prefer to come to Raman Transport Services. Now, Raman Transport Services offer services to within western region into the hinterlands, and then when you move towards the other direction up to Kaneshi in Accra. These same services are being offered by the GPRTU. Now, matters came to a head when the GPRTU held a press conference and declaring that they are giving the city authorities a 1-week ultimatum, which ends on Monday. If they refuse to move the Raman Transport Services back into their fold, they would also move their vehicles to their present location, that is the Jubilee Grounds market area, to also start operation there. Obviously, this would turn into chaos.
In more news tonight, the Ghana Meteorological Agency has urged the general public to dress appropriately during what it has described as cold conditions expected to last for at least 2 months. This, it says, will prevent weather-related health complications following a drop in temperatures over the southern part of Ghana.
While the rainy season is tapering off in southern parts of Ghana, the northern regions remain at the peak of the downpour cycle. Deputy Director of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Joe Tete-Potfi, says sunshine is expected to return later in August, but caution remains essential.
We are getting, along the coast, we are getting 25, 26, 27. At that area, they are getting 24. Accra, we are getting 25, 26. Axim area, it will be very cold there. They are getting 23. There is a Banguela current that is coming, and it comes with a very cold wind. And we also have high pressures over Ghana. So once we have high pressures, yes, moisture will come in, but we'll not be able to sustain the moisture. We'll not get most clouds. We'll get high clouds, which will block the sun. But for the northern sectors, they are in the peak of their rainy season. So for them, they'll be getting thunderstorms with strong winds and then heavy rainfalls. And now what we'll be expecting from July to August will only be intermittent drizzle and showers. The minor season will last up to October ending. Then from November going, we are getting into the Harmattan.
Also expressed concern over the effects of the cold and wet weather on vulnerable groups, including children and the elderly, urging families to take extra care with clothing and exposure.
This is a period we should be at least cautious, looking at the rivers, how they are flowing, and then their gauges, we read the gauges, so that if there is anything that Burkina Faso might open its dam, then we should be prepared for a lot of water coming in, and then see how best we can help our farmers and those in the northern sectors. This period also brings a lot of health hazards. Yes, people get cold, you have to cover yourself very well. And the little children and the elderly need to at least wear protective clothes. This is a period we have to look at our dressing. when you are sleeping, you make sure you cover yourself. So we need to take precaution and go by the weather. The dressing must also change.
The current weather patterns, while not unusual for this time of the year, call for vigilance, especially in agriculture, health, and daily living.
So like the advice says, be sure that before you step out, you are well clothed and ready for whichever weather may come at you. There's still News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment all coming up.
This segment is brought to you by MTN. Touch concentrated perfume.
Good evening and welcome to the business segment on News 360. I am Minu Aful. Straight to our first story. The Bank of Ghana spent 206 million cedis on official travel in 2024, double the previous year's amount. This is despite ongoing efforts to tighten public spending as part of Ghana's IMF-supported economic recovery program. The following 3 Business News Desk report has details.
The Bank of Ghana has come under public scrutiny following its 2024 annual report, which shows that the central bank spent 206 million cedis on official travel last year. This figure is exactly twice the 103 million cedis spent in 2023 and represents the highest travel-related expenditure by the bank since 2015. The disclosure comes at a time of increased calls for fiscal discipline, especially as the central bank posted a 9.4 billion cedis loss for the year, an improvement from 2023's 13.2 billion cedis loss, but still significant. Though the central bank did not provide a detailed breakdown, analysts say Ghana's involvement in the IMF program, including travel to Washington and other international engagements, may have contributed to the sharp rise. Travel spending by the Bank of Ghana was as low as 20 million cedis in 2020 due to COVID-19 restrictions. It surged from 76 million cedis in 2022 to this record high, 206 million cedis in 2024. Meanwhile, a presidential directive issued in February 2025 bans first-class travel for government officials, a move expected to moderate such costs going forward.
Away from that, the Institute of Economic and Research Policy Promotion has declared itself vindicated by the International Monetary Fund's recent expression of concern regarding government management of the cedi's stability. The IMF's caution outlined in its 4th review under the Extended Credit Facility arrangement with Ghana directly mirrors warnings previously issued by the Institute of Economic and Research Policy Promotion that, according to the Institute, fell on deaf ears.
The IMF Executive Board, in its review, voiced apprehension over the government's practice of pumping in forex to support the cedi against major currencies instead of allowing market factors to determine the stability of the local currency. Specifically, the IMF urged the Bank of Ghana to maintain an appropriately tight monetary stance until inflation returns to its target, reduce its footprint in the foreign exchange market, and allow for greater exchange rate flexibility, including by adopting a formal internal forex intervention policy framework. In a statement signed by its executive director, Professor Isaac Boedi, who also serves as Dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Finance at UPSA, the Institute of Economic and Research Policy Promotion stated that these warnings from the IMF do not merely validate but vindicate its long-held concerns. The Institute had previously argued that government was deliberately injecting large amounts of dollars into the system to prop up the cedi's value. The statement indicated that while this may make the currency look stable in the short term, it distorts market dynamics, encourages cheap imports, and hurts local production, a toxic combination for long-term economic health. The Institute further criticized the Bank of Ghana's approach, noting that, to date, the central bank has not adopted a clear, published FX intervention framework.
And now Samsung has unveiled its most advanced foldable smartphones yet. At its Galaxy Unpacked 2025 event in Brooklyn, the tech giant introduced the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7, 2 AI-powered devices that promise sleeker designs, smarter features, and record-breaking camera technology.
Samsung took innovation to new heights at its Galaxy Unpacked 2025 in Brooklyn. The spotlight was on the all-new Galaxy Z Fold 7, its slimmest and lightest foldable, weighing just 215 grams and folding to under 9 millimeters. The Fold 7 packs a redesigned user interface a powerful multimodal AI engine, and for the first time, a 200 megapixel camera offering ultra-sharp photos and clearer low-light shots. Its wider cover display, sleeker armor flex hinge, and upgraded durability bring a whole new level of comfort and performance. Samsung also revealed the Galaxy Z Flip 7, a compact yet powerful foldable phone with brighter edge-to-edge flex window and flagship-level camera performance. Designed for life on the go, the Flip 7 blends AI assistance with seamless multitasking in a pocket-sized phone. Samsung says both devices reflect a bold new chapter in foldable innovation, putting intelligence and design front and center.
Easier for you to actually do more on the cover screen. And then we also have the Z Flip 6, which also same, you can do more on the flip. I mean, it's tailored towards the Gen Zs who like to take more videos, like to take pictures, use their phone as a camcorder. It also came with a full screen 4.1-inch screen display that you can actually do more on, and then also a 6.9-inch display in the cover screen.
He also disclosed when the products will hit the African continent.
Official launch for Ghana will be 1st August, whereas pre-order starts from tomorrow. So if you want to pre-order, you can just visit any of our authorized dealers to do your pre-order. And then if you want to also buy when it comes and then pay later, we have what we call the EIP, that's buy now, pay later with Stanbic, Access, and EcoBank too as well.
Let's now check out what is happening on the forex and commodities markets. And that's it for Business on News 360 tonight. I am Minu Afo. Stay with us. Sports News comes up next.
by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We start with our first story where the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Adams, has embarked on a working tour of the Barbera Sports Stadium in Kumasi as part of efforts to restore the facility's lost glory. The stadium, once a vibrant hub for international matches, was banned from hosting CAF and FIFA-sanctioned matches in September 2024. Emmanuel Owusu, my colleague, was at the visit and filed this report.
The tour saw the minister inspect key facilities, including the pitch, stands, dressing rooms, and other critical areas of the stadium. Accompanying him were the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amwakuhene, and the National Sports Authority's Director for Kumasi, Mr. Kwame Ba-Mensah. Honorable Kofi Adams expressed his concern on the current state of the facility.
In terms of our sporting development, the tartan tracks, space for tartan tracks, and so athletics can easily be done. So it won't only be for football, but you can have athletics, you can do even other events here. Once we have beach covers, you can do many other shows here.
In a strong appeal, Honorable Kofi Adams urged corporate institutions and private entities to support the renovation and upkeep of the Barbera Stadium. According to him, the task of restoring the stadium should not be left to the government alone.
Today, we don't have any big sponsor that sponsor our sports. Yes, Malta Guinness did the women's Premier League, but how much is it? Guinness, their main brand is not their main product, are not able to sponsor sports anymore. So it's a matter that we are seriously looking into. I don't think denying them investment in sports has helped us because we haven't gotten the money to be able to do our facilities.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amwakuhene, also urged the Sports Minister to fast-track efforts aimed at upgrading the stadium so it can once again host top-level international competitions.
Kumasi is no kotokoneye a heartbeat. Baby adodo na nanko mudio muduma ya Barbera Sports Stadium. Ben say America crane CAF ne continental and international matches ni ntimi mbo ha. Even local leagues ni kura ni ntimi mbo ha. Oha no dodo na yehu a yenya ne assurance say obeboa ne ahyase.
With the CAF Interclub competitions approaching, fans and stakeholders hope that the facility is made ready for Asante Kotoko and possibly BBN Gold Stars to compete.
To some more stories where Tottenham Hotspur are expected to sign Mohamed Kudus from West Ham United for a fee in the region of €55 million. The Ghanaian will sign a 6-year contract and becomes Thomas Frank's first signing at Spurs. There's more details in the following report.
Tottenham and West Ham have reached an agreement on a 6-year deal for Ghana midfielder Mohamed Kudus. The midfielder is expected to join Spurs for a reported fee of £55 million. Spurs and West Ham had been logged in conversation for the Ghanaian, who had an £85 million release clause active from July 1 to 10 in the last few weeks. The fee eclipses the £45 million Arsenal paid for Thomas Partey in 2020, making him the most expensive Ghanaian. After 2 years in North London, Kudus made 90 appearances for West Ham in all competitions, scoring 19 goals and providing 13 assists. His stunning solo goal against Freiburg was adjudged West Ham goal of the 2023-2024 season and nominated for the Puskás Award. As the deal awaits an official announcement, Kudus' move to Spurs is seen as an exciting one, as he will feature in the 2025-2026 UEFA Champions League.
Well, there's Club World Cup action currently ongoing as PSG lead Real Madrid by 3-0. Almost half-time in that one. You can get updates and reactions on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
By GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, award-winning singer Kwame Eugene has disclosed that his exit from Lanes Entertainment to independent status has helped him gain complete control over his creativity and music career. Now, despite retaining full creative control, the Monica composer noted that shouldering the burden of all aspects of his career has been incredibly demanding. He spoke on 3FM.
For the first time, I have power over what I put out there. And this is the first time I'm putting an album together that from track 1 to maybe track 24 is because I want it on the album. Because with Links, you have about 20 people saying, no, don't put this, don't put that. Don't. To understand that sometimes you have to go and stand somewhere so that the big dogs will now they go back and forth over which one comes first. But now, I can wake up and go like, okay, hello, Monica. I want to put Monica today and put Abena out today.
Musicians transitioning from a record label to independent status often experience a mix of freedom and challenges. In the late 2024, versatile musician Eugene Marfo, known by stage name Kwame Eugene, exited the Lanes Entertainment label after being signed for 8 years. Opening up about life after leaving the label that launched his career, the singer stated that transitioning to an independent artist has presented many challenges. The singer now takes care of financial and operational responsibilities previously shouldered by the label.
Okay, one amazing thing working for the with the label was we had about 25 people working for you. It's actually still like that, but I'm paying a lot of people now. Links was doing some of the payment, but then again, now I'm doing all the payment. I have to pay my road manager, my actual manager, the one that answers all the calls, the DJs, everything here. So if you don't have money, don't go as a solo artist. It's hard.
That notwithstanding, the prolific composer revealed that the venture has been rewarding.
You get to see everything that's going on, you understand? And first, it used to be, oh, this percentage. Now everything comes into your account, boom, and we're like, okay. But then again, you have about 25 people you need to pay to keep the work going. So you have to be very strategic and be smart about it. Because you can't do it all by yourself.
Despite exiting Links Entertainment, Kwame Eugene asserted that he is still in touch with his former label and reaches out for advice when the need arises.
And now to some more stories. Ghanaian musician Molly has opened up on her decision to remain an independent artist without being signed to a record label, stating she's been hesitant to be with a label right from the beginning of her career. The Wonder Girl singer, who has managed to gain international recognition being an independent artist, was asked whether she personally took a decision to not be under a label or it was something that just happened naturally. Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you, Noella. Coming up, international news.
U.S. President Donald Trump is set to meet the leaders of 5 African states, an invitation the White House sees as an incredible commercial opportunity. Trump's choice of guests include the leaders of Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, none of whom represent the major economies of the continent. The 3-day summit is expected to concentrate on Trump's trade not aid policy, and with all of them facing 10% tariffs on goods exported to the U.S., they may be hoping to do deals to negotiate this rate down. Those up for grabs may include ones over critical minerals, with maritime security, migration, and hosting deportees also likely to be on the table. President William Ruto has ordered police to shoot protesters targeting businesses in the lakes, ensuring they are incapacitated but not killed. The UN and human rights groups have accused the police of using excessive force in the recent wave of anti-government protests. 31 people were killed on Monday, according to the state-run body.
And that's it for our package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Portia Gabor. Join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.